I had a bicycle repair that I did the other day. That's this particular type repair seems to be becoming more common, but it's a just an old 70s, 80s, just inexpensive, but maybe decent bike shop quality road bike that we're kind of just overhauling and converting into more of an urban commuter. This one is pretty, tires are rotten, cables are, kind of rusted up. The chain rings are bent up, and but anyway, this type of bike, it's probably the common modifications that we see is just people will convert them into a single speed or a fixed gear type bike, and so this one we're basically gonna do an overhaul on, and the seat post was stuck in there, so use this the PB blaster stuff there. This works real well, just FYI if you're gonna gotta try to get a stuck seat post. But on this one we went with a 2-speed automatic Sram Hub, which is a pretty cool little hub. It's just as you get it up to a certain speed, it automatically just shifts gears. So kind of cool. Just rebuilt the rear wheel, and then we put a more the Aero style brake levers, and just used the customer's original center pull brakes, and new chain, tires, tubes, new brake cables, and new handlebar tape. So just kind of gave it a little freshen up, and I kind of tried to film as much as I could, but I didn't, as far as I got a lot of the disassembly here, so basically just taking apart the the old four-sided tapered collarless standard old school crank there. And so basically kind of what we did, this particular crank, it's got a 52 on the big ring, and then I think it was like a probably a 40 or 42 or something on the small ring, but the big ring's actually connected to the crank arm, so the chain ring, or the little guard there, was all bent up into the ring, so and then the ring was a little bent, so we basically I just took all that off and just went with the big ring. And the 2-speed hub came with a 19 tooth cog, but I found a 21 that I put on there that worked a little better gear wise. So with that 2-speed, it was pretty much the perfect gear ratio. That wasn't super hard to take off from the stop, but you could definitely carry some nice little bit of speed there once you got up into the second gear. Yeah, just all this stuff, we're just stripping it down. It's all, I don't know, the chain probably could have been reused again, but it was, pretty worn out. The bike before, it looks like it's seen not a ton of miles, but a few here and there. So but it actually, a lot of the bikes are, the seat post was pretty well frozen up in there, but the rest of the bike was pretty straightforward. Nothing really stuck in super hard to get it disassembled, so it wasn't really too much of an issue there. The bottom bracket actually came apart, fairly easy. And a lot of times what I'll do on these, if the bearings are shot or the races are pitted out or whatever, I'll just stick a Shimano cartridge bearing, just the whole one-piece unit. That's pretty simple to do, but this and everything's in pretty good shape, so we just cleaned it all up and overhauled it and put fresh grease in and ran it, and it worked out pretty nice there. And the adjusting side cup was kind of stuck in there, so it wasn't a huge deal. Just needed a little bit of persuasion there with the rubber mallet to get it broke loose, and not really a huge deal. But these older style derailleurs and such, they look cool and everything else, but as far as functionality, just for cruising around, they're fine. But just compared to the modern day stuff, they're if you ever get used to the shifting of the modern day bikes, they're definitely lack performance as far as the actual shifting quick or under any kind of power for sure. So a lot of the cables were rusted in the housing, so just clip them off and take the whole derailleurs with the lower portion of the cables. Probably the quickest way to get them off there. And there's The kind of nice thing with this bike, you know, is there was lots of scratches and, you know, a few little rust spots and things on the frame. You know, I kind of cleaned it up a little, but, you know, it's kind of the overall appearance of the bike is kind of a, you know, like what I would consider kind of a rat rod type look, you know, but it's got all new components, so it's a great little commuter bike, you know, and you know, it kind of has the look of a lot of the, you know, fixed gear type bikes, but, you know, probably a little more functionality with the that automatic 2-speed. You know, just to the naked eye it looks very similar, but it's, I don't know, maybe a little more functionality than a standard fixed gear, and, you know, it doesn't look like anything special, so maybe, you know, not being a real flashy looking bike, it's, you know, a little less susceptible to somebody, you know, bike thief trying to take it or whatever. But you know, in the end, you know, I basically I didn't cover a lot of the assembly here, mainly just the disassembly. So anyway, fast forward to the finished bike. You know, had to add a few spokes in the front, and put all new stainless spokes in the rear. Cleaned up the rim and stuff, so it ended up looking real nice. The front ring ended up looking pretty clean with that single sprocket, and kind of testing out the 2-speed. Went out and rode it, did a little test ride, and it was pretty sweet. So yeah, that's the finished bike there. Just, you know, sweet little commuter. Anyway, yeah, that's gonna cover this little project, and yeah, thanks for watching.